Well, good afternoon or morning or evening, wherever you are watching this interview. Welcome back. Second interview of the day for Goosebump Moment Presents. You may be familiar with this gentleman. We were on a previous platform when he first showed up, but we're now going to dive deeper into what he does. This is Larry Daniels, folks. He is a nationally certified trainer for the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So we're going to be talking about Napoleon Hill. Why is Napoleon Hill still as popular today as he was 100 years ago? And I think I read somewhere where even now, even in 2022, his book ranks like in the top 5 under the best-selling books ever printed, and that is just following the Bible. So it is amazing that this book keeps getting more popular. And we're going to talk about why and what the attraction is to all this. Plus, we're going to talk about some specific things that Napoleon Hill teaches today. So welcome, Larry. Glad to have you back.
Thank you, BJ. Glad to be back.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's just jump into this right away. Why is the attraction still as strong 100 years later for Napoleon Hill and his wisdom?
I personally believe because it's simplicity. I think it's about getting back to the basics. We have all of these philosophies out there, and all of these individuals saying, "Do it this way," but yet Napoleon Hill gives you easy steps to follow. His book, Think and Grow Rich that we're talking about, the 13 steps to riches. He specifically gives you steps to take in each and every chapter, and it simplifies the process of what you're trying to do. It really, if you wanted someone, so to speak, to hold your hand along the journey, this book is it. It holds your hand along the journey.
And you are 100% right. It is the simplistic part of just being you and thinking and business and being successful in life. Correct?
Absolutely. And as you said when we signed on, BJ, this book was published in 1937, and in the middle of the depression, and it was $2.50 at the time, which was a lot of money.
Yes.
And it sold. I mean, it sold out its first printing in a matter of days, and to this day, it still sells more than 1 million copies a year. That's just unheard of.
Well, it is, and like I said earlier, it's in my research, it falls in one of the top 5 best-selling books ever, right behind the Bible, which is again that's a testament to the teachings and the lessons and the philosophies that he's trying to get. Larry, let me introduce to you Kat Hurd. Kat is a friend of mine, and actually, Kat is going to be my guest on an interview on Monday. So
awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, Kat, for joining in.
Thanks, Kat. Hello.
Okay, so let's jump right into something. Larry and I belong. Larry has a mastermind group on Tuesday evenings, and a book club on Thursday evenings, and I join in. And one of the things in the book club last night, we were talking about. I want to focus on today because I think they're good lessons. Larry, talk about the 7 positive and the 7 negative emotions.
Okay. Well, in Hill's work and putting together, the 13 Steps to Riches, Think and Grow Rich, Hill was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie, and he interviewed the most successful people in America at the time: Henry Ford, John Wanamaker, William Wrigley, and the name goes on and on and on, Thomas A. Edison. And that's how he came up with the law of success, or the philosophy of success, which was originally published in 1927, and it was an 8-volume set. It was like buying a set of encyclopedias. And he condensed that material down over the years into, of course, Think and Grow Rich, which is the 13 Steps to Riches. And this one that I have is actually the original 1937 text. There's multiple copies out there on the market now where chapters have been changed, things have been taken out, words have been updated and replaced. I prefer to use the original text. So in the chapter on the subconscious mind, which we were studying last night, Hill talks about the 7 major positive emotions and the 7 negative emotions to be avoided. And I'm just going to read right from his own words here because I think it's best. There are 7 major positive emotions and 7 major negative emotions. The negatives voluntarily inject themselves into thought impulses, which ensure passage into the subconscious mind. The positives must be injected through the principle of autosuggestion into the thought impulses which an individual wishes to pass on to his subconscious mind. So let's start on the negative side, actually, because as Hill states there, and as all of us know, we are inundated by negative media, negative news sources, negative. The world is filled with negative people. And it's not that there's not positive people in the world, but it just seems like those are the ones that get the most attention is the negativity.
Right.
So as you're going about your day, you're bombarded with negativity from all angles. Unless you're one of these individuals like myself, who I can't remember the last time I watched a newscast or picked up a newspaper, because years ago I did away with that stuff.
Mhm.
I stopped and I started reading daily, and I started listening to positive podcasts and videos and things like that. So the negative, as Hill says, comes automatically. And because because of the way that it's mixed, Hill talks about mixing emotions with thoughts. When thoughts are emotionalized, it's like a direct path to the subconscious mind. So when we see this sensationalized media and we see the images, you guys ever notice how you can see a 2-minute newscast and the same 15 seconds of footage just plays over and over again while they're speaking?
Mhm.
That's the repetition. That's getting to the subconscious mind. We all know that the world generally is a good place. The only thing is that the media and other sources, just the negative draws the most attention.
Well, we were talking. Let me interrupt you if I may. We were talking last night. In the earlier days of advertising on television and sources, it was referred then to as subliminal marketing, subliminal
Mm-hmm.
suggestions. They can't officially do that anymore. That's kind of on the illegal side. But what you just said about the reflashing of the same video or the same material over and over again, it's the same thing. That is that subliminal reminder. Look how terrible it was. Look how many people got injured. Look at this tragedy. Look at this riot. Look at this. And that is a form of subliminal suggestion. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. The repetition of thought.
yeah.
Everyone tells us how do we acquire skills and how do we remember things? And it's through repetition.
Yep.
And so they continuously play that repetition over and over again till it gets into our subconscious mind. So the 7 negative emotions, that these are ones that Hill says are to be avoided, is the emotion of fear. The world is filled with fear mongers. We're supposed to be afraid of, they would like us to be afraid to even go outside of our house and go shopping. So the emotion of jealousy, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of revenge, the emotion of greed, the emotion of superstition, and the emotion of anger. Some of those really stick out, um, you know, revenge. We live in a get even society, you know,
Harassment
and,
and
and,
bullying.
and, and what I like what the Buddha said best about it is, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, I don't have the exact quote, but picking up a hot coal to throw at someone else you're the one that gets burned. So, and Hill says these are very important, that we close tightly our mind against these things. And that the only way that we can do that is through habit. We have to reprogram ourselves with the positive emotions.
Okay, so let's go into the positive then.
Yes, absolutely. The emotion of desire, who doesn't have a desire for something?
Right.
Most of us as parents, one of our desires was that our children have a better life than we had, so it's the emotion of desire. You have to desire something. That's the starting point. Hill says that's the starting point of all achievement. There must be a desire there. The emotion of faith, and Hill, not and Think and Grow Rich was not necessarily talking about religious faith. He was talking about faith in oneself and faith in the future. Mm-hmm. Faith that things can and will get better. A lot of times people automatically associate the word faith with their religious or spiritual beliefs. But Hill in Think and Grow Rich and his other works talk specifically about having faith in yourself, having faith in infinite intelligence. And you can draw from the infinite intelligence whatever it is that you wish to desire, what he meant by that. The emotion of love, the emotion of sex, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion of romance, and the emotion of hope. So those are the 7 positive emotions.
And they if you think about it in a deeper text, they all do kind of tie into each other. I mean, and that desire, that number 1 positive. I mean, you have a desire for love. You have a desire for faith. You have a desire for all of that stuff. So if you actually focus in on that, it brings you back to that desire and that higher place of success that you want to achieve.
Absolutely. Hill says right here, he says, there are other positive emotions, but these 7 are the most powerful. Mm-hmm. And the ones most commonly used in creative effort. Master these 7 emotions, and they can only be mastered by use. And the other positive emotions will be at your command when you need them. We have to reprogram ourselves. That's what it's all about. Society has been programming most of us for all our lives.
True.
From the time we were little, the television was programming us to tell our parents what toy we wanted for our birthday or what toy we wanted for Christmas or why we should have that. As we get older, it has programmed us to tell us that, unless we wear a certain type of jean or a certain type of jacket, then we're not cool, and unless we have a certain type of job or drive a certain amount of car, all these things. It has society. Most of us, until we came to what I like to call our awakening point, we followed this. We chase the next dollar, we chase the next raise. And so when you really going back and trying to reprogram yourself, trying to as Hill would say, trying to go after what it is that you really want, whatever your burning desire, your definite major purpose is, it's literally like starting over again.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what makes this book so important, Think and Grow Rich. And that's why it's so popular, because he literally gives you a step-by-step process to follow. From your desire to creating a definite major purpose to creating a plan, and then all the little things that he puts in here to let you know how important it is that you follow these steps. The late Bob Proctor, who his success was founded on this book.
Mm-hmm.
He read this book. He read this book every day for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And he actually said at one point he would take each chapter and reread it every day for 30 days and then move on to the next chapter and reread it every day for 30 days. Hill gives you instructions in this book. You know, after you've read this section, go back and reread this section.
Mm-hmm.
After you finish the book, go back to this chapter and read this chapter every day until you comprehend what it says. And I don't know how well you guys can see my book, but my book is extremely highlighted. And this is probably my fifth or sixth or seventh edition of this book, because I go through and I highlight and I mark up what I consider to be the points that really jump out to me. And when this book gets tattered, I'll buy another copy of it and I'll go back, because sometimes when you study or you read something, sometimes you don't catch everything the first time through.
Exactly. Yes, that's true. You don't. And again, it's part of our habit that we just read to read. We don't read to understand. You know,
Exactly.
so that affirmation of going back and rereading and then understanding what the words say or the sentence says is terribly important in the overall understanding of things. Okay, Larry, let's talk about your mastermind group.
Okay. Yeah, well, I have a mastermind group. It's free. We meet on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Time here in the USA. And this is just about expounding on Hill's teachings. It's a small group setting. It's very private. It's very personal. I'm very selective on who I let into the calls, because sometimes a lot of personal information comes out. Matter of fact, I received a request from Germany last week where the individual said, "Hey, can I see the recordings of your mastermind? You know, do you have a link?" And I was like, "No, I don't, because I don't record those calls, because I want it to be an open environment where people feel free to share issues that they're struggling with, so that the group as a whole can come up with ideas or suggestions or maybe just a word of encouragement." And we've had so many individuals on that call. We have that contribute to each other. It's not the call being about me. It's about it being it as a group as a whole, and allowing each other, because the one thing that we seem to forget sometimes is that every individual has knowledge that we have no idea about.
Correct.
You know, they have life experiences. And so me to stand up there and say, "Hey, I'm a certified Napoleon Hill instructor, I know everything," that would just be ignorant of me. Because each and every person, you'll see me on the calls taking notes. Someone will recommend a book. "Hey, I read this book and this was in it, and I think it would benefit the group." You know, or I saw this video, or whatever it may be, or I bumped into this person. That's the glory of the call, is that everybody has an opportunity to share their opinion, to share things that are going on with their life, and to seek advice, because that's what Hill wanted. You know, Hill talked about the mastermind principle being a group of individuals that got together in perfect harmony. And that's why I keep the group small. And that's why I'm selective on who I put in a group. Because if the members of the group are not getting along and they're arguing back and forth or debating back and forth, it doesn't serve a purpose.
It does. Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of the group, and why I like it so much is because we are all there to help each other. It's not about Larry dominating. It's about one person said. One of the things Larry does brilliantly in the beginning is say, "Let's talk about your wins for the week." And there have been a couple of people on there who say it wasn't a good week. Here's what happened. So then we kind of respond back to them and say, "We're sorry that you had issues. How can we help?" And that's how we gather together as a group, and it's people helping people, plain and simple. And That's the brilliancy of this group. Okay, do you want to talk about your book club or not?
I mean, I can just mention it briefly. We do a book club, which Hill also recommended in Think and Grow Rich that you do, where you get together. We get together on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Time, the U.S., and we actually, as a group together, we read the chapters of Think and Grow Rich. And some of the chapters are short and some of the chapters are longer. Sometimes it takes us a couple of weeks to get through a chapter, but we also not only just read it, but we will stop at any point in time and discuss, something that someone has a question or an opinion or an observation about. So once again, it's like we're on chapter 13 next week, and we've been on Think and Grow Rich all year. What better way to really study and understand Think and Grow Rich than to do it as a group?
Mm-hmm.
And in the very beginning of Think and Grow Rich, Hill says those exact instructions. You should meet together weekly. You should read the book out loud as a group and discuss it. Mm-hmm. And I that's exactly what I do, because I think it's the most effective way.
And it reinforces retention, and that's a good thing as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. Larry, it scroll. Oh, I didn't scroll. Oh my God, Larry, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So let's give them your website. What is that?
Okay. My website is www.successonevision.com. It is actually currently, if you go to it right now, it's going to have a construction sign on it because we are upgrading and making some changes to it. But you can also find me the Science of Success Mastermind Group on Facebook, Larry T. Daniels on LinkedIn, Larry T. Daniels on Facebook. I have a page and where I keep everything updated for the book club and positive inspirational quotes and things like that. So that's where you can reach me, social media.
Okay, fabulous. Kat, thank you for joining, but do you have any questions or any comments you would like to make? Okay, all right. Well, again, dear, thank you for joining in and supporting Larry and myself. We appreciate it. Once again, I want to remind everybody, Kat, the lady you see down below, is going to be my interview on Monday. I don't remember what time, but you will see. I just made a post on Facebook. I have not yet posted on LinkedIn, but yeah, we're going to.
Central.
I'm sorry.
8 a.m. Central.
There you go. 8 a.m. Central. Okay, Kat, and I will tell you, Kat, I have tagged as a social media strategist of sorts, and then a Google business page professional. She can help you maneuver through Google pages and all the intricacies that go around Google. Brilliant awesome. Young lady. Yeah, brilliant young lady. And I'm excited to be interviewing her. She too is going to be a repeat. She was actually my first interview.
Wow.
So we're going to be bringing her back to the stage and to the show. I also want to give a shout out to anybody. If you have a small business and you would like to be featured in one of these shows, reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn under Lady Dynamicity. And you can find me on Facebook under BJ Stevens or Moments by BJ. And message me. Let's see if we can get you booked. Let's see if we can get you to shine out and stand out and get people noticed, get you noticed about what you do as a small business. And then one more thing. If you would like to consider possibly being a sponsor for some of these shows coming up, reach out to me because you would then get a brand up here at the top, and then you will also get a brand on the ticker, scrolling ticker at the bottom. Today's episode is sponsored by such and such. So I want to help you in that way. That's another way to get noticed without being involved in the interview, actually. So get a hold of me if you would like to have that moment in that space. Don't ever discount the power of video. because it is actually the best branding and marketing tool right now on the planet, hands down. The most powerful. So, okay, we're now getting real close to the end. So, Larry, once again, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
And I'm sure, the base of knowledge here, Larry will be back. I can promise you. 'Cause we want to share this out. We want to get this Napoleon Hill information out there. And Kat, thank you so much for coming and supporting. We appreciate it. And we'll see you on Monday. So, all right, everybody, thank you for watching. Please be sure to tune in again on Monday. And then have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And don't go to bed tonight without thinking about something you did positive today. Even if it's a small win, you've got a sink full of dishes and you managed to get half of them done. That's a win. And appreciate the fact that you had a win. So don't think about all the things you didn't get done. Congratulate yourself and think about all the things that you managed to get done in a day. That helps you truly, psychologically helps you sleep better. That's a proven scientific fact, folks. So do that and have a great, enjoyable weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you on Monday. Thanks, everyone.